when loaded cargo is a cause to endanger the vehicle's operational safety or obstruct the view of the vehicle's directional signals, license plate, brake lights, taillights, or other related parts. You may drive if people who check for any irregularities in loading and packing ride in the vehicle. False. Even when people who check for any irregularities in loading and packing ride in the vehicle, you must not load cargo improperly. On roads where this sign is posted, light vehicles and motorized bicycles may enter. False. The sign is pedestrians only, indicating light vehicles and motorized bicycles are, as a rule, prohibited to enter. The following signal viewed from behind is a signal to turn left or change lanes to the left. True. Extending one's left arm out to the side as pictured is a signal used when turning left or changing lanes to the left. The widths of objects loaded in a large-size automobile, medium-size automobile, semi-medium-size automobile, heavy special equipment, and regular car may not exceed the widths of the vehicle. True. The widths of objects loaded in a large-size automobile, medium-size automobile, semi-medium-size automobile, heavy special equipment, and regular car may not exceed the widths of the vehicle. When parking on a road which side strip is not more than 0.75 meters in width, you must stop your vehicle along the left edge of the road. True. If the width of the side strip is not more than 0.75 meters, you must park your vehicle along the left edge of the road. Even when traveling through an intersection where the pictured sign designates directions for each traffic lane, you may move to a lane that is not designated for your direction in the event of road construction or other unforeseen circumstances or when an emergency vehicle approaches. True. You may travel in different designated lanes when giving way to emergency vehicles or avoiding road construction. In the event of a traffic accident, the scene of the accident should be preserved until a police officer arrives to conduct an on-site investigation. False. The parties involved should move their vehicles to a safe location to avoid a secondary accident and should give aid to injured persons. The following two auxiliary signs have the same meaning. True. Both signs indicate end of traffic regulation. The hand signal shown in the drawing is equivalent to the traffic light for traffic traveling straight ahead. False. Although the traffic light indicates that traffic can make a left-hand turn, the hand signal performed by the police officer is equivalent to a red light. Therefore, traffic is prohibited from proceeding forward, turning right, or turning left. On the road where the following sign is posted, large cargo and specified medium-sized truck may not drive, but heavy special equipment may. False. The sign is closed to large-size trucks, indicating the road is closed to large cargo, etc. Overtaking automobiles or motorized bicycles is prohibited in and within 30 meters before a crosswalk or bicycle crossing zone. True. Both overtaking and passing are prohibited in these areas because such actions pose danger to pedestrians and bicyclists. When driving vehicles, one should always observe the rules of the road and maintain a spirit of give and take with others. True, it is essential that drivers obey traffic rules, maintain a spirit of compromise, and show consideration for others' situations. As a general rule, lanes having the pictured sign are closed to vehicles other than the designated vehicles, light special equipment, motorized bicycles, and light vehicles. True, this is an exclusive lane sign, indicating that this is a lane restricted to route bus. However, slow vehicles, such as light special equipment, motorized bicycles, and light vehicles, are allowed to access the lane. The following pavement marking indicates a crossroad ahead is a priority road. True, the marking is priority road ahead, signaling that you should yield to vehicles driving on the crossroad ahead. When parking at a time-limited zone, you need not activate a parking meter within a marked period of time. False. When parking at a time-limited zone, you must activate a parking meter after parking. You are allowed to park only within a marked period of time. The term vehicles include automobiles and motorized bicycles, but not light vehicles. False. The term vehicles include automobiles, motorized bicycles, and light vehicles. Except for roads in special village zones, you may not park continuously in the same spot on a road for more than 12 hours during the day, more than 8 hours at night. True, you may not park in the same location for more than 12 hours during the day and more than 8 hours at night. Riding double is not permitted on motorcycles with no passenger seat or motorized bicycles. True, only one person may ride on motorized bicycles or motorcycles with no passenger seat. A motorcyclist should check off his or her privately owned motorcycle whenever necessary, judging from the operating conditions. True, the privately owned motorcycle should be checked whenever necessary, judging from the motorcycle's mileage, operating conditions, etc. The level of brake fluid in the brake fluid reservoir should fall between the maximum and minimum levels. True, the level of brake fluid should not be too high or too low. A radiator and a fan belt play a role to protect an engine from the destructive forces of too much heat. True, the water pump circulates the engine coolant through the radiator and back to the engine, driven by the fan belt. When passing a safety zone where pedestrians are present, you must always come to a halt. False. When passing a safety zone where pedestrians are present, you may proceed at a reduced speed and need not come to a stop. If your vehicle breaks down or runs out of gas on the main through lane of an expressway, you should call for a tow truck from the nearest emergency telephone and have your vehicle moved as soon as possible. True, you should call for a tow truck from the nearest emergency telephone and have your vehicle moved as soon as possible. When forcing you to park the disabled vehicle on the side of an ordinary road during the daytime, you should alert other traffic that your vehicle is disabled by placing a triangle reflector on the road and opening your trunk or hood. True, you should alert other traffic that your vehicle is disabled by placing a triangle reflector on the road and opening your trunk or hood. When attempting to enter a priority road, you must always come to a stop before entering the intersection and proceed in a manner that does not impede traffic on the priority street. False. When attempting to enter the priority road, you need not stop, but must slow down and avoid impeding traffic on the priority road. You are not permitted to park or stop your vehicle within 10 meters from a bus stop sign pole, regardless of whether buses operate. False. You may not park or stop your vehicle within 10 meters from a bus stop sign pole, but you may park in the area at a time outside bus operating hours. Drivers holding a medium-size automobile license may operate semi-medium-size automobile, a regular car, regular motorcycle, light special equipment, and motorized bicycle in addition to a medium-sized automobile. False. They may not operate a regular motorcycle. Operating a regular motorcycle requires a regular motorcycle license. You should come to a stop or reduce speed before merging into the main through lane of an expressway so that you may not impede the passage of other vehicles traveling in the main through lane. False. You need not come to a stop or reduce speed. You should accelerate to a sufficient speed in the acceleration lane and merge smoothly into the main through lane. Overtaking is prohibited in the tunnel, regardless of whether traffic lanes are provided. False. You are prohibited from overtaking in tunnels, except when traffic lanes are provided. When approached by an emergency vehicle in an intersection, L passed through the intersection immediately and gave way to the vehicle while coming to a stop on the left side of the road. True. You should pass through the intersection and give way to the vehicle while coming to a stop on the left side of the road. Motorcyclists should wear a helmet and clothing of a highly visible color because they are often overlooked by drivers of four-wheeled vehicles. True. Wear a colorful helmet and clothing to enhance your visibility. Enhancing visibility is one way to protect yourself. When braking a motorcycle, you should employ engine braking and apply both front and rear brakes simultaneously while maintaining an upright posture and not turning the front wheel. True. You should apply both front and rear brakes simultaneously on a motorcycle while maintaining an upright posture. You may park for not more than 5 minutes for loading and unloading within 5 meters from the corner of a road. False. Stopping for not more than 5 minutes for loading and unloading is not considered parking. However, since the area within 5 meters from the corner of a road is designated as a no parking or stopping area, you may not park your vehicle. Centrifugal force acts on automobiles when they round curves, potentially causing an automobile to overturn, particularly when it has a load piled up high or has an unbalanced load. Therefore, it is important to load cargo properly into an automobile. True. As noted, loading cargo too high or too much on one side might cause an automobile to overturn. You may park on the road if the space to the right of the parked vehicle would be not less than 2.5 meters. False. 2.5 meters is incorrect. You must not park on a narrow road. As a general rule, if the space to the right of the parked vehicle would be less than 3.5 meters. The following pavement marking indicates no stopping zone. True. When you sense you are about to have a head-on collision, you should apply the brakes fully and attempt to steer around the oncoming vehicle. You must not give up until the last moment to avoid a collision. True, slowing down minimizes damage and may avoid the accident in some cases. You must make sure that the conditions are safe before changing lanes. Therefore, it is important to look directly over your shoulder at the mirror's blind spot to ensure that the way is safe. True, you must check with your eyes to make sure there are no vehicles in the mirror's blind spot. When overtaking a vehicle, you must pass on the right side of the vehicle even when the vehicle is signaling to make a right-hand turn. False. If the vehicle ahead has pulled toward the center of the road to make a right-hand turn, you should overtake the vehicle on the left side. You must not drive on shoulder of expressways, but you may travel on the side strip if the traffic ahead is congested. False. You must not drive on the side strip, even in case of traffic congestion. Only large cargo with heavy loads may travel on a climbing lane for trucks and slow-moving traffic on an upward slope. False. In addition to large cargo, vehicles traveling slowly may use a lane. Owners of automobiles except motorcycles must secure a parking location, garage, or other suitable place in which to park their vehicles off the road within 5 kilometers from the address of the main use of the automobile except for villages where another rule is applied. False. 5 kilometers is incorrect. Owners of automobiles except motorcycles must secure a parking location, garage, or other suitable place within 2 kilometers from the address of the main use of the automobile, except for villages where another rule is specified. When riding double on a motorcycle, the passenger's movement is delayed, pushing the motorist forward during acceleration and pulling the motorist backward during deceleration. False. When you ride double on a motorcycle, the weight of the passenger pulls the driver rearward during acceleration and pushes the driver forward during deceleration. For safe driving on the main through lanes, you should use a white line on the left side of your lane as guide and stay a little left of the center of the lane on which you are traveling. True, you should drive on the main through lanes, as noted above. Commercial motor vehicles, excluding light-duty trucks no greater than 660 cc's, and non-commercial large motor vehicles must undergo a periodic inspection every 6 months, while non-commercial ordinary motor vehicles must undergo a periodic inspection every year. False. Commercial motor vehicles and non-commercial large motor vehicles must undergo periodic inspections every 3 months. The following sign indicates a cycling road or road for the exclusive use by bicycles. False. This is a bicycle crossing zone sign. Since backing up and making a U-turn are dangerous maneuvers, you should signal and exit the maneuver only after all other traffic has stopped completely. False. You must not make a U-turn or back up when such action could impede normal traffic, including pedestrians. A driver is not responsible for an accident that occurred when a passenger carelessly opens a door. False. The driver bears responsibility for warning fellow passengers not to open a door carelessly. When passing through an intersection, you must immediately come to a halt on the spot if the signal ahead changes to yellow. False. Since stopping in the intersection could impede other traffic, you can proceed through the intersection. Since medicines are designed to make you feel better, it is okay to drive after taking any kind of medicine. False. Many medicines designed for colds, headaches, and other ailments induce drowsiness, and one should not drive after taking such medicines. When stopped in an automatic vehicle at an intersection or the like, keep your foot on the brake pedal and set the handbrake for added insurance. True. When stopped, keep your foot on the brake pedal to prevent the vehicle from creeping forward and set the handbrake to be extra careful. When driving in fog, snowstorm and the like, you should follow the vehicle ahead while paying attention to the vehicle's taillights and brake lights. True. When driving in fog, snowstorm, etc., you must pay attention to the vehicle's taillights and brake lights. The following illustration shows a wrong procedure for taking curves. False. As depicted in the drawing, you must reduce speed before entering the curve and may gradually accelerate only after passing the midpoint of the curve. A regular motorcycle can be parked and stopped even on the top of a slope because its body is small. False. Even regular motorcycle cannot be parked and stopped in the area designated as a prohibited area. Rely on the braking power of the engine when you go down a long slope by shifting to lower gears or changing gears to the 2-end or L1 street position in case of automatic cars. A foot brake should be used when necessary. True. An engine brake is mainly used, while a foot brake plays a role as an auxiliary backup brake. When crossing over a railroad, you should keep as far left as possible, while watching out for pedestrians and the oncoming traffic. False. When crossing over a railroad track, you should drive not to the left edge, but slightly closer to the center to avoid a wheel slipping off the road. Motorcycles require the same driving skills as four-wheeled vehicles to perform basic driving operations, such as stopping and rounding curves. False. Operating a motorcycle is different than driving four-wheeled vehicles. For example, motorcycles need be maintained stable at all times or be leaned into curves when turning. You must drive slowly on steep uphill and downhill. False. While you must drive slowly when approaching the top of an uphill and when driving on a steep downhill, you need not slow down when driving up a steep uphill. When changing lanes, you should first signal and then make sure the way is safe. False. When changing lanes, you should make sure the way is safe before signaling. Motorcyclists may use sidewalks and the like when pushing their motorcycles with the engine off unless they tow another vehicle or are equipped with a sidecar. True, since the motorcyclist is treated as a pedestrian in this case, using sidewalks is permitted. When riding double on a motorcycle, the passenger may move contrary to the motorist's wishes, making it difficult for the motorist to turn as intended. True, the driver must be aware that the passenger may move contrary to the driver's expectations. Since there is less wind resistance, the more you lean forward on a motorcycle, it is easier to operate a motorcycle when leaning far forward. False. Leaning too far forward can be dangerous as it reduces your field of vision. It is important to maintain a correct riding posture on a motorcycle. Headlights play a role to let other traffic notice the presence of your vehicle. Therefore, you may turn on the headlights as soon as possible after sunset. True, you should get in the habit of turning on the headlights sooner after sunset. You must stop temporarily before a railroad crossing and ensure the way is safe before proceeding, even when the road is not marked with a stop line. True, you must come to a stop and check that the way is safe before the railroad crossing when there is no stop line. At intersections of two-lane roads, having traffic lanes, motorized bicycles must make a two-step right turn to avoid an accident when turning right. False. If an intersection has traffic signal, has 3 or more lanes in each direction, or is posted with a two-step right turn for Moped sign, motorized bicycles must make a two-step right turn. When driving on a road with a following sign, you may not overtake, with part of your vehicle extending over the center line into the lane of the oncoming traffic, even if the width of the left-hand lane is less than 6 meters. True, it is not permissible to overtake another vehicle while crossing into the right side of the road. Before operating your four-wheeled vehicle, you must always check that people or children are not present in front of, behind or under your vehicle to make sure that it is safe to do so. True, there are dangers that may not be visible from the driver's seat. When towing a disabled vehicle with a rope, the overall distance from the front of the towing vehicle and the rear of the vehicle being towed must not exceed 20 meters. False. When towing two vehicles, the distance from the front of the towing vehicle to the rear of the towed vehicle must be within 25 meters. You may not cross into the right side of a one-way road. False. Since there is no threat of oncoming traffic on one-way roads, you may travel in lanes to the right of center. When the traffic light for your direction is red, the traffic light for the crossroad is always green. False. Traffic on the crossroad does not always have a green light when the traffic light for your direction is red. In some cases, the lights may be red for all directions. Unless otherwise specified, the maximum speed for regular cars is 60 kph on the main through lanes of a motorway. True, unless otherwise specified, the maximum speed is 60 kilometers per hour on a motorway. As speed increases, peripheral vision declines so that objects close to you are particularly difficult to make out. True, when driving too fast, people sometimes fail to notice pedestrians darting out suddenly from nearby, for example. When signs or markings indicate the road has a speed limit of 40 kilometers per hour, a motorized bicycle operator must not drive faster than 30 kilometers per hour. True, motorized bicycles are not allowed to go faster than 30 kilometers per hour, even on the road where the designated maximum speed exceeds 30 kilometers per hour. You may not park within 3 meters of a fire alarm. False. No parking area is within 1 meter, rather than within 3 meters of a fire alarm. Regular cars should avoid entering exclusive lanes during periods of heavy traffic if there is a possibility that the cars will be unable to exit the lane to make way for an approaching route bus, etc. True, regular cars must not enter exclusive lanes during periods of heavy traffic if there is a possibility that the cars will be unable to exit the lane to make way for an approaching route bus, etc. When approached by an emergency vehicle in an area not near an intersection, you must always pull over to the left side of the road to allow the emergency vehicle passage. False. When you are not traveling in the area near the intersection, you need not always pull over to the left side of the road to allow the vehicle passage. It is possible to pull over to the right side of the road when pulling over to the left side could impede the emergency vehicle. When coming to a stop at an intersection, vehicles must stop directly before the stop line, a crosswalk or bicycle crossing zone if these markings are provided, or directly before the intersection if these markings is not provided. True, when a stop line is not provided at an intersection, vehicles must stop directly before the intersection. When the vehicle's rear wheels begin to slide to the right while driving, you should turn the steering wheel to the left. False. You should turn the steering wheel in the direction that the rear wheels are sliding. Many cars, motorized bicycles, and regular motorcycles with an engine of 1 to 5 cc or less may not travel on the road posted with the following sign. True, the pictured sign is motor vehicles only. The road is closed to the vehicles listed above. When driving around a curve, the force acting on the vehicle to make the vehicle begin sliding toward the outside of the curve is called centrifugal force. True, while centrifugal force increases proportional to the square of speed, the force increases as the radius of the curve decreases. The following sign directs vehicles, streetcars, and pedestrians not to use a road. True, this is a road closed sign, indicating that pedestrians, vehicles, and streetcars may not enter the road. If you are confident in your driving skills, you are permitted to ride double on an ordinary road even if the period of holding regular motorcycle license is less than 1 year in total. False. Double riding is not permitted for a rider holding regular motorcycle license for less than 1 year. Whenever you park or stop your vehicle on ordinary roads, you must turn on hazard flasher, parking light, or taillight. False. You need not turn on these lights when road lighting or the like makes your vehicle seen from 50 meters away, or when a triangle reflector is placed to the rear of your vehicle. When passing a child walking alone, you must reduce speed or come to a halt to ensure the child's safety. True, when passing alongside a child walking alone or handicapped people, you must slow down or come to a stop. Since the brake lights of a four-wheeled vehicle turn on when the foot brake is applied, you should avoid stepping on the brake several times in succession, as a flashing brake light may be an annoyance to trailing traffic. False. Braking several times signals trailing traffic and may be useful in preventing a rear-end collision. Therefore, you should step on the brake several times in succession to avert a rear-end collision. The designated speed limit on an ordinary road is 60 km per hour for motorcycles, regardless of engine capacity. True, automobiles including motorcycles must drive at a speed of 60 kph on the ordinary road. If you become lost while driving and begin to feel anxious, you should quickly pull over to a safe stopping place to consult a map or ask for directions. True, you should quickly stop the vehicle and determine the way to your destination. Motorcyclists should keep both knees open wide with their toes pointed outward. False. Motorcyclists must grip the fuel tank with both knees, and their toes should be pointed forward. You must not accelerate suddenly on gravel or muddy roads to avoid skidding. True, on gravel or muddy roads you should avoid sudden stopping, accelerating, or turning, and shift to a low gear to maintain a constant speed. When stopping or parking on a road with a demarcated walkway and roadway, you must stop or park along the left edge of the roadway. True, if there is a sidewalk, you must park your vehicle along the left edge of the road. You are traveling at 30 km per hour. How should you react when an oncoming vehicle is about to overtake? False. Since your motorcycle is small, the oncoming car may have misjudged the distance and may cross the center line into your lane. Therefore, you should flash your lights to warn the driver and continue at the same speed. False. Since there is a guardrail on the left edge of the road, it is too dangerous to move farther to the left. Therefore, you should increase speed and attempt to pass before the oncoming car crosses the center line. True, since braking suddenly can potentially cause you to slide sideways into the guardrail, you should reduce speed by braking several times in succession while keeping the handlebars straight. Explanations. The oncoming vehicle attempting to overtake another may not see you approaching from behind and cross the center line into your lane. Instead of quickly increasing speed, you should decrease speed while monitoring the behavior of the oncoming vehicles. You are driving in the acceleration lane of an expressway at 60 km per hour. What should you be watching for when merging into the main through lanes? False. Since there is a gap between the vehicles in the main through lane immediately to your right, you should quickly merge into the lane so as not to miss the chance. True, since one vehicle in the main through lane is approaching from the rear, it is best to adjust your speed so that you can merge behind this vehicle. True, you should merge after first checking directly over your shoulder that it is safe since a vehicle may be in the blind spot of your mirror. Explanations. Accelerate to a sufficient speed in the acceleration lane. Check that it is safe, in your mirrors and over your shoulder, and quickly determine where you will merge. You are traveling at 30 kilometers per hour. What should you be watching for when making a right turn? False. Since the four-wheeled vehicle ahead appears to be turning left before the pedestrian crosses the crosswalk, you may proceed as normal. True. The motorized bicycle may move to the right to avoid the four-wheeled vehicle turning left. Therefore, you should reduce speed and look out for the motorized bicycle's maneuvers. False. It is safe to assume that the motorized bicycle will stop behind the four-wheeled vehicle if the vehicle comes to a stop. Therefore, you may move to the right to make your right turn. Explanations. Since there is no way to tell whether the motorized bicycle will come to a stop or will move to the right to avoid the vehicle turning left, you should slow down and keep your distance from the motorized bicycle so that the bicycle can perform either maneuver. You are waiting for a train to pass at a railroad crossing. What should you be watching for after the train has passed? False. Since a train will not approach after the crossing gate rises, you may proceed without ensuring that the tracks were clear. True. You should pay attention to the actions of the oncoming vehicles, since these vehicles may attempt to drive around the pedestrians to cross after the crossbar rises. False. You should quickly drive over the railroad after the crossbar rises. Explanations. At a railroad crossing, it is important to ascertain the situation after the crossbar rises to determine whether you can cross to the other side without having to stop on the railroad tracks. You are traveling at 10 kilometers per hour. What should you be watching for when you turn left at an intersection? True. You should assume that the vehicle ahead may stop before the crosswalk. Therefore, you should proceed carefully while watching for the vehicle. True. You can find a motorcycle in the rearview mirror. However, there may be motorcyclists you cannot see in the rearview mirror. Therefore, you should check with your eyes to make sure there are no motorcycles in the mirror's blind spot before turning left. True. If a motorcyclist drives straight from the rear on your left side, you might collide. Therefore, you should turn left carefully while looking out for the motorcyclist. Explanations. You should turn left slowly so as to avoid hitting other vehicles, pedestrians, and motorcycles behind.